So our notion is that one. With that, I'd like to introduce the next poet, which is another Woodstock, who is another Woodstock poet with another fine sense of reality, and his name is John Jordan. Would you please welcome John Jordan?
Thank you, Max. I agree with what you said about the war games going on. I have one poem to read. It's a pro-peace, anti-nuclear poem, and it might not seem that at first, but you'll get the point. Holy breath and good voice. The day the earth came up to my door, I was listening to Pavarotti. He was removing my poverty, enriching heart and soul with his voice. I let him soothe my soul while writing. The whole earth sat there waiting just in case I wanted to explore. But even the earth, as majestic and beautiful as she is, could not compete with the beauty of the moment. I approached two edges of other levels of consciousness, closer than I should have, perhaps. The self-correcting mechanism of heart and soul keeping me generally on course, hashing out a clearer path. I cannot see the sea. I shift another gear. A star burst in air. Aeronautical chemical engineers, buccaneers, old-timers, three-wheel vehicles. Do you have any reservations? I mean, do you have any reservations about directions? I need a colossal new director. Interstellar activities began. I raised the director up from a crumpled up note on the floor. The crowd went wild and came back for more. No, David, there is no giant. The blackbirds crank out a couple of jokes. The guided missile, the one with the 16 nuclear warheads, the one that the boys at the missile plant, the same boys who had been humming in their minds and singing, "I'll waltz across Texas with you," had named and inscribed Waltzing Matilda on the inside of the lower access panel, the one that opens with the funny screws, gets her arms pulled off. Peace is at hand, and war is nowhere in sight. And then I looked down, and there was this cigar-shaped object in my hand, and space.
That was John Jordan. Thanks a lot, John. Okay, our next poet is Neosho. Please welcome him. Neosho.
Thank you, Sarkis. And thank you, Sarkis and Max and the other organizers for this event. It's high time. My poem is called Big Lies. They take a long poem to contain all the big lies that the American people swallow. See that I don't mention in this poem is the 18 foreign governments that George Bush's CIA has overthrown since World War II. And he accuses Saddam Hussein of overthrowing small countries. He's a lying hypocrite. Also, Saddam Hussein has used poison gas weapons against other peoples. This may be true. I want to point out that the United States dropped its whole nuclear arsenal on civilian populations in Eastern Asia, and then told the American people that they did it to save the lives of American GIs. Talking about August 1945. It's another big lie that we believe. That was the first shot of the Cold War and a futile effort to keep the Soviet Union out of the Far East. Not a military objective at all. It's a few of the big lies that we believe. And the poem goes, we got welfare for the rich and prisons for the poor when the country is seized by the military power. Ancient of days become refugees and shock troops of conquest of indigenous needs while we fight for our right to party. And we cheer the yellow ribbon of empire. We believe big lies while we breathe toxic skies, and in the prisons they lie. Young Bobby Sands, Andrei Sakharov, Nelson Mandela, and Leonard Peltier. Young Bobby Sands, he faced English steel, as the Ancient of Days faced Roman spears. He's no criminal, so he died in a cage. Free Irish at last in the prisons they lay, while we fight for our right to party, and we cheer the yellow ribbons of empire. We believe big lies, while we breathe toxic skies, and in the prisons they lie. Andrei Sakharov served the military power, but his struggle for freedom was his finest hour. Grown old behind walls, human rights was his plea. Free just to die. In the prisons they lie, while we fight for our right to party, and we cheer the yellow ribbons of empire. We believe big lies, while we breathe toxic skies, and in the prisons they lie. Nelson Mandela, in triumph, is freed to a larger prison his people contain. Will South Africa's people decide their own fates, like the natives among us? In the prisons they lay, where the reservations run by the goon squad troops, and the land is given away to the strip mine corps, where the FBI racists are walking tall, torture Indians to death in VFW hall, where the children are stolen by the Mormon church, only come back determined to sell their earth, so their holy big mountain is sacrificed, so Las Vegas casinos can burn all night, and the news that we get from American press, more company line and Morris the cat. The American people still turn away from Leonard Peltier. In the prisons he lays, while we fight for our right to party. And we cheer the yellow ribbons of empire. We believe big lies, while we breathe toxic skies, and in the prisons they lie. Thank you.